welcome to the fourth edition of the Calgary Black Film Festival, created by the Fabienne Colas Foundation, co-presented by Global News, and supported by Calgary Arts Development Canada Media Fund, Telefilm Canada, Calgary Public Library, and Festwave Institute. The CBFF 2024 runs from the 24th of May to the 29th, 2024, online and in person. Find a complete program and grab your online all access passes and individual tickets on calgaryblackfilm.com. Thank you all for joining us today. My name is David Owusu. I'll be your host and moderator for this panel today. But before we begin, we would like to acknowledge the traditional territories and the oral practices of the Blackfoot Nations, which include the Siksika, the Piikani, and the Kainai. We also acknowledge the Tsuut'ina and Stoney Nakoda First Nations, the Métis Nation, and all people who make their homes in the Treaty 7 region of Southern Alberta. Okay, like I said earlier, my name is David Owusu. I am an AI engineer and researcher. And welcome to a panel on the impact of artificial intelligence on the film industry. We have a very interesting panel here today. I believe we've all heard what artificial intelligence is or what AI is, and it has been far spreading everywhere from industry to entertainment. And today we are going to talk about how it's being used and the effects and the impacts that it has on our film industries. Today, the panel with us, we have some lovely guests. I will introduce to us. We have Eric Edem, a research engineer and AI educator. He has a deep understanding of AI technologies, and he provides some invaluable insights into the technical advancements that are driving AI's expansion and its potential applications in the film industry. Eric, nice to meet you. Hello.
Oh, hello. I'm so happy to be here.
Do you have anything you want to say or add?
Yeah, I'm so excited because this talk is just everywhere. To be honest, I just joined this new job, Vector Institute, and
Wow.
their drive and motivation is just to steadfast the use of AI in startup companies, and it will fascinate you how many film industries are coming to Vector Institute to inculcate the use of Gen AI and tools like that. And so I'm very happy to be here because it's a growing field and it's something that we are doing now, and I'm happy to be here. Yeah.
Thank you. We are happy to have you. That's awesome. Next, we have Juliet Smallisi, a film director and a CBFF Black Market Coordinator. She's a Halifax-based broadcast journalist and a filmmaker. Juliet is from Ghana, West Africa. Incidentally, so am I. So we are comrades. As a broadcast journalist and film director, she specializes in crafting narratives, illuminating Black communities' experiences and challenges. So she's going to give us a unique insight into how AI affects the film industry. She's a visionary entrepreneur in the entertainment sector, and she brings a strategic foresight into how AI-driven innovations are reshaping the business models and the industry dynamics. Welcome, Juliet.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me here. I'm excited to be here.
We're excited to have you as well. I hope I did you justice right there.
Oh, yes, you did.
And last but certainly not least, we have Sabine Danielle, a Canadian award-winning bilingual producer and TV host. Sabine she has years of experience both in front and behind the camera. She's a producer on so many pieces of work, particularly a kids show, which has been nominated for an award. I'll pass it over to her to speak about herself shortly. But she brings a wealth of experience in the diverse and inclusive storytelling genres, as well as a deep understanding of the technical and creative aspects of production. So welcome, Sabine. Nice to have you.
Hi, very happy to be here with you to talk about something that is top of mind for everybody in any industry and particularly in ours.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Oh, could you just talk a bit about the show you're producing just to,
Yes, well, I am extremely proud of the show, but it's my baby. It's called Sunny's Quest. Sunny's Quest is a show that's putting Black kids at the forefront. Kids from all over Canada are telling how proud they are to be from Nigerian, Haitian, Trinidadian, and also we get to experience their life doing Western activities and traditional activities, and all of that in 7 minutes. It is geared towards kids 6 to 9, but believe it or not, because there's no such shows like that in Canadian um, sphere and television and media, all families watch it, like all age.
Wow.
We have parents, teenagers are like, oh my god, I wish that show had existed. I would have been more proud of my roots and stuff. But I think, you know what, um as a Black person myself, I I have to say I was a bit selfish. I created for my inner child because I come from a parent. My mother is half Dominican and half Haitian, and my father's Haitian. And my mother kind of hid for a very long time. She was Dominican because Haiti and Dominican Republic don't, coexist very well. They're always fighting. And I find this show, what was really important to me is kids are proud of the complexity and their Black experience in Canada. So you get to know places like Ayr, London, Ontario, as much as big cities like Toronto. So it's basically a way to talk about us, but by kids, and also to be proud of whatever they love. And one thing, I think I have some Nigerians on the panel here, but you should see that show. I had a little boy who we went to the Nigerian wedding. I learned about spraying, about prostrating, sorry, but it is a show where you get to learn about cultures of your friend. So that's why it's a co-viewing, and co-viewing means everybody could watch it. And I'm very proud of it because it's for us, by us.
Amazing. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Sabine. That was very amazing. Okay, so now that we've introduced our wonderful panelists, let's dive right in. First, we're going to have a very quick mini game, sort of, for our panelists and for everyone watching. Yes, so basically, what we are going to do is we have a set of images, right? And some of them have been generated by AI, and some of them are real. And it's going to be our panelists' job, and everyone watching, if you can do this on your, your own, to see, try and tell which ones were generated by the AI and which ones are real. Are we okay?
Yes, we are.
Awesome. Okay, so can we switch to that right now? Can everyone see?
Yes.
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, so this is the first image we have. Actually, this portion is going to be handled by our resident AI expert, Eric Edon. So, Eric, over to you.
Sure, no problem. I see this image here, and we have three women, and it looks like they are trying to take a selfie, or they are trying to, I don't know what they are doing, but then, um, if I'm supposed to guess what's generated this, whether this is human or real, it's gonna be quite a challenge. But then there are some things in this image that I will try and point out first of all before I'll make any decision. Before I say anything, let me just
Yeah.
let me just throw the coin here. If anyone can suggest, what do you think this will be? Would it be real or AI?
I think it's
Yeah.
a mix, Eric. And I'll analyze a little bit. I find that the people are real. The cell phones
Okay.
seem real, but I find there's a hand that doesn't match with the picture, the hand that's pointing to the cell phone. And also in the background, that person looks fake, the person on the table in the back.
Mm,
So I think it's a
yeah,
mix, but it could be AI.
Mm.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I think
So,
it's AI.
Why do you think
Do you
that?
think it's AI?
Yeah, I think it's AI generated because it's very pixelated. Uh, yeah, I think it's AI.
Oh, that's awesome. So Eric, were we right?
Yes. So actually, at a first glance, it may look normal and real, but then the image of these three women at a cafe, it's actually AI generated. And so what I was trying to point out was that when we notice some of these two awkwardly placed pink tipped fingers pointing
Oh, I see
uh,
them.
behind the arm
Mm.
in the foreground, you see
Yeah.
those ones, and also the woman in the center sort of has a jumbled hand.
Mm.
And the woman on the right as well. And so this was quite easy. I mean, this was quite easy just because of these features. Okay, I think we
Yeah.
can move on to the next.
Okay.
I have to put my glasses on.
Yeah, and so basically, this is an image of an enthusiastic crowd at a show. I don't know which show it is, but then it looks like the States.
Mhm.
Yeah, it looks like the States. And so, is this image real or AI generated? Given the fact that Juliet, you had mentioned that it's very pixelated for the first image. What would you say about this one?
Huh. Well, if I'm to go by the description that you just did for the other picture, I'll say this
Mhm.
is AI as well.
Hmm.
Okay.
I
But
think
it
it's
really
real.
doesn't, yeah, it really doesn't look really AI-ish. It looks real, but yeah, maybe real and a little edited. Yeah.
You know what? I think I'm going to go for real on this one.
Yeah.
Real.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Why?
You
Why?
know what? It's like the first of all, the picture, the hand's a little bit blurry. And if you're taking pictures with your cell phone or even with a camera, there's a
Yeah.
possibility in a crowd
Yeah. Yeah.
moving,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
the
Yeah. That's
movement gets blurry. Also, with AI, everything kind of looks perfect. And here, what makes it real? It's imperfectness. So I
yeah.
think for me, it's if that's AI generated, we are in trouble.
Yeah. That is
Yeah.
a beautiful sentiment, actually.
Yeah, I think well, yeah, I've got it perfectly well. Just a little caveat. This is an ongoing field, and so we are trying to build models that can actually predict whether an image or a video was actually AI generated. And so it's an ongoing research trying to build more models that can actually do this. And they are this for sure, it's a real photo. And
Ooh.
so yeah.
One for
It's
one.
like- I like how this is going because in the first picture we're talking about features. We're
Hmm.
trying to point out some potential biases or things that you can point out. And here, someone would have said, well, there's some blurriness and stuff, but then it's
Yeah.
actually real. And
Yeah. The
Yeah.
imperfections
he
make
got
it
us,
human. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, he
Yeah.
got us spot on.
Okay. So should we move to the next one?
Hmm.
Yeah, you can move to the next.
Wow, isn't that a lovely
Oh,
picture?
You have to come close.
It looks too fake.
I'm with you, Juliet.
Oh.
Can I
It
tell a story? I want to share something because I think it's fake.
mm,
And this year I've experienced something using AI because filming with kids is quite difficult.
mhm.
I have teams that goes across Canada and we film for 2 days and the kids are real kids, they're not actors.
Yeah.
So
That's
we were
true.
missing we were missing a scene, a complete scene because one of our kids went through a tantrum.
Oh my goodness.
Fast forward, we decided that because we had the beginning of the episode, the beginning of the show, but we were missing a bit of the end, we decided to generate it. And it looks so fake. But we send it to the I send it to my network for approval.
Mhm.
And I did mention there's a part somewhere. I didn't want to pinpoint because I wanted to see if they could do that exercise. And and I will tell the end of the story when we know if it's real or not.
Oh.
But because we're having that debate and because AI is so present in our life, this is where it gets really tricky with ethics because the kid didn't
Mhm,
do the end, right?
Yeah.
And also
mhm,
the network had to guess where it was. Well, I was going to tell them, but they weren't comfortable with the
Mhm.
idea that there was no end and the end was generated by a kid.
Interesting.
oh,
I don't know. I just feel this is real for some reason. I don't know.
The
Mm.
book probably is
actually,
real.
this is.
It's so enhanced. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
their cheeks. Look at
Mhm.
the. It's yeah. It's kind of too. If it is a
I
real
think it's a
picture,
bridge.
it's really over edited. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I see. I see.
No, but to be fair, this is a very good photo.
Yeah.
It's a very good photo, and this is San Francisco with a golden
Oh,
bridge.
yeah, like
Yeah,
Golden State Bridge. Yeah, cool place.
Okay.
yeah, exactly.
But the bridge
But
looks
then,
like it looks
no,
I've
I
been
mean,
to
It
it's
San
looks
just
like a
obvious.
Francisco.
virtual background.
It's
No,
questionable.
okay. So this was actually AI generated.
Ah.
Ah, so why were you trying to make it look real?
What? Is
Yeah,
there
so
anything you can point out as to why it's AI generated?
yeah, if you notice, the images confusion in the details of the textures on the strap of his backpack.
Uh, yeah,
Mhm.
that's true.
Okay,
That's true.
so the right side. Okay, you see,
Yeah, I see that.
it's getting it a bit confused. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, that's true.
So these are some of the few things you can try and look at. I mean, humans may also make mistakes, but
Mistake.
the AI is definitely not perfect. We can go to the next.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Wow. This almost looks too good to be real, but
yeah,
I'm gonna go real.
real. Mm.
Mm.
Do you
Can you
see
make
this?
it
Oh,
bigger,
Yes, sure.
please?
Oh, that's a little too big.
I think it's AI
Uh,
again.
is that
Yeah,
better?
because you can't even see the people in it, right? And then, uh, it's AI.
I think
Yeah,
I'm gonna go real for this one. I don't know. It feels AI, but I don't know. Human beings are capable of some crazy things. I think this is AI. This is real.
But
yeah,
we
you're
created AI.
right.
um, do you know where this is? This is Steve Jobs Theater, right?
Oh,
And yeah, so this is actually Apple.
Mm.
Yeah,
so this is
Really?
real?
yeah, this is the office.
It's
I,
not real. It cannot be
I
real.
don't know.
It doesn't look real.
Wow.
Mm.
Yeah, so this is actually a real photo, and
Yes.
it was taken outside outside the building, and so it's like the building is just glass walled.
Oh.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, so it was taken through the windows, and so
Mm.
it's a real photo.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's amazing.
It is.
interesting.
Okay, and I think this is the last one we have.
Okay.
Oh, this is quite obvious, I think.
That
Yeah.
that sea
This
wave is not even waving.
I think this is 100% AI generated. Like this is 100%.
There's no sea wave.
Yeah, yeah. This one is
I mean,
straightforward.
look at the arm, the lady's arm. It's so long.
I think it's
Mhm.
real. I think it's been edited. You know, it looks like a picture that you could see in National Geographic
Yeah.
magazine. I
Hmm.
think
Mhm.
you know, there's elements when you look at the mountains in the back,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't look fake. It has this depth in the, you know, one degree depth, the second degree. I think it's real. It's been cleaned up to be in a magazine, to be editorial. And you know, um, David, when we get all old, our body changes a lot. And I think that arm is just an arm that worked a lot. But it could be, you know, AI.
It's slightly unnatural though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think you are getting your artistic side a bit more more up. So if I was supposed to agree with you on that one, then
Mm-hmm.
if this was a painting and someone actually drew it,
Mm-hmm.
it would have been very real. But then what we are talking about is like an image of
Yep.
a photo, like a capture. And so in that sense, pointing out the fact that I was talking about, we identifying some features.
Mm-hmm.
I understand why David and Julian will be saying this is AI generated,
Mm-hmm.
but then it's actually real.
It's a real picture.
It's real.
No, 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 it's AI generated. I'm kidding. Yeah, I'm kidding. Yeah, so so this is AI generated. I think this was one of the easiest amongst the bunch.
Mm-hmm.
Aside, if someone told me this was a painting, then I'll agree. But in terms of a live photo, uh, no.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways,
Wow. So that's the last. Wow, that's the last image we have. How did we all do? I think I had about one. I had one wrong, one mistake.
Even.
That's amazing. Thank you very much, Eric. Okay, so uh, now that was very informative, very interesting, and I think that really shows how far AI has come, and it's still improving every day. I think we're all familiar with ChatGPT. So there's a new version of GPT that was released recently. That's GPT-4, and with regular GPT, you couldn't send in images as a prompt to the AI, but this one can actually do some form of image recognition and things like that. So AI is improving every day, and I'm sure the perfection level or the accuracy that we are seeing now, or that we even saw yesterday, would not be the same one we see today. So that's very interesting. That's very interesting. Thank you once again, Eric. So, with that as a springboard, imagining AI being integrated into the film industry specifically, Eric, how do you envision the future of filmmaking with the continued integration of AI technologies? Like, as an AI expert, what do you think are some of the exciting opportunities for AI to make some changes or some improvements in the film industry?
yeah. So what I'll say is that it's all about prompt engineering, right? And so in terms of these large language models that we have now, all you need to do is that you feed them with some kind of prompt, and then they are able to understand what you are feeding them, the input text, and then they can generate an output. And we have different kind of large language models for various purposes.
Mhm.
But then specifically to the film industry, we can look at things like character animation, okay, or even the
Mm,
storytelling parts, the visual effects, and all of these. Basically, all you need to do is just feed some of these large language models. In the film industry, popular ones, we have Sora, we have uh, Dali, and we have others. And so basically, it's all about prompt engineering and how you can craft some of these inputs, and then it will be able to generate an output for you in terms of whether you are doing a pre-production or the post-production or even the production itself, basically.
mhm. Very interesting. That's wow. That's amazing, actually. So to Juliet, as AI becomes more prevalent in the film industry, what steps do you believe are necessary to ensure that creativity and human expression remain central to the filmmaking process. I mean, with the exercise we just saw with the game we had, Sabine made some very interesting comments about how imperfections make the human aspect more alive, makes it more human. So, how do you think AI in the film industry would not lose the creativity and human expression aspect?
You know, hmm, I remember the first time that I was talking to Sabine about AI. Um, I was concerned about how AI is rapidly increasing, and how I was just really concerned about the job part of the industry, how AI is coming in and then we're losing a lot of people with, the real talent and all that. But Sabine made a point that, the AI, whether we like it or not, is still going to be there. It's
Yeah.
here to stay. It's just at this point, it's just about us.
Mm,
How are we going to use the AI to enhance this industry? Is it going to be for our benefit, or is it going to be against us? You know what I mean? The creativity is still going to be there. But I think that if we use it and use it rightly, then we won't lose it.
mm,
Like if we decide to, rely completely 100% on AI, everything AI, writing a script AI, generating a scene AI. That way, then we are like we're in the way, like we are right on that way, that long way of losing that creativity, you know. So I think it's just to our description when we should use it, and then like when to know how to stop using it, and then to go back to the talent or the creativity way that we know already, like the traditional way that we know already. Yeah.
that's amazing. A very good insight. Thank you very much, Juliet. To Sabine, considering the rapid pace of AI development that we've mentioned, how do you anticipate AI is going to impact the film industry and also the broader societal perceptions, how society sees the things like storytelling, representation, cultural narratives? How do you think the rapid pace of AI is going to affect these things?
So I'm gonna continue on what Juliet says. So the way I see AI is gonna be like the internet when it started.
Yeah.
Um, I saw the internet coming in, and I remember, and Juliet, I was worse than you. I was like, this is not gonna change our life. And all we do is being on the internet. So I think AI is just the next thing. And we have to jump on the bandwagon now, not to be late. I think it is a tool that's going to help us produce better quality television. It has bias, obviously. It is not perfect. That's what human comes along. And I think the way it's changing right now is that, yes, the laws are going to change, the contracts are going to change. We are able in film to take, in my case, a kid's voice and create his voice if we're not able to find him. Because sometimes, like I mentioned earlier, we are all busy finding great kids to be available to do a reshoot. It's not cost effective, and right now the industry is going through a huge transformation. The digital transformation, and also the fact that we are in Canada, and in Canada the budget for television and film is getting smaller and smaller. So to save money, AI is like God sent. It is a way of continuing to produce quality content to improve AI, because more we use it, more it's going to improve, and also stay within, being cost effective. And the beauty of it is that I find us as people of color, Black people, could use that as an advantage point because we are creative. We work usually with small budget. And if we know how to use the right prompts and where to use it and where to have that human, like I'll give you an idea. I train my chat GPT to have a template for all my script because I was producing two shows at the same time with almost the same budget. I'm telling you, this is what happened this year. So what I did is I got storytellers to review the content that was generated and to tweak it. So ChatGPT became like another co-writing tool to get a draft. It is not the final product. And after we were able to go faster in the same amount of time, I did two shows within 8 months. The first
Wow.
time I did Sunny's Quest, I did it 10 months, one show. Obviously, there was more to create. But what I'm saying is that, yes, it's going to change the film, the television industry, but we need, as creators, to jump and learn about it and to tweak it at our advantage. And how I see it for myself, it's like a tool to improve where you're not good at. Um,
Mm.
I'll give you an example. I start with my weaknesses. English is not my first or second language. ChatGPT helps me to tweak the language
I
and to
see.
adapt it for 6 to 9 year old kids,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So this is how we got to think about AI in general. It's a tool to improve the quality of our work, but at the end of the day, we are the person that's gonna
Use it.
vet and
Yeah.
approve the final content. We can't say, "Hey, we generated through ChatGPT and not reviewing." That makes no sense.
Yeah.
We need quality control.
Quality control. That's very interesting. Quality control. I think Eric has a follow up that you wanted to add to that.
Yeah. I mean, I totally agree. And ChatGPT is excellent, by the way. I use it every time. You know, the way it was trained, it's a decoder model and it's a unidirectional model. And so I don't want to get too technical, but then my the point I'm making is that Chat ChatGPT, how it was trained, we call something masking, okay? And
Yeah.
so basically, it was trained to predict the next word. Okay. And that is why it is unidirectional. Basically, you feed it a sentence and then it tries to predict the next word based on the prior word, based on the previous word. Okay. And so it's a wonderful one. That's just one model. Okay. That's just one large language model. There are different ones. We have BAT, we have BET, we have T5, we have oh several ones. And so all of these ones have their use cases and what they are used for. But then you had mentioned the internet, and then I just wanted to add on to that. The internet was part of the third industrial revolution, and that that just gave me an idea because this is how people must see things. I'm just trying to calm the nerves for all those who think that AI is scary, scary. I just want to calm the nerves. You see, if you think of it like industrial revolution, there were five industrial revolutions. The first one was just machines and factories. That was in the 60s and 40s. Okay. And then it moved on to the second, which was the development of now streets and roads and stuff. And then the internet came in the third revolution. And then we came to the fourth, which was the AI, robotics, and stuff like that. And now we are in the fifth, which is the generative AI. It's even more than just the AI itself. And so, if people are thinking about the fact that, well, these generative AI models and the large language models that I had mentioned earlier are now coming to take over our jobs, but in the same vein, they think of it like industrialization, where streets came, it has helped us a lot. The internet came, everybody uses the internet now. Think of Gen AI as something positive. And I like the fact that you had mentioned that, well, you train your yeah, so they have APIs that you can apply transfer learning. That model has been trained on a large data set. But then if you have your own use case and your own data set, you can even fine tune the model on your use case. That's a bit technical, but then what I'm trying to say is that it just depends on how you are able to adapt and use some of these tools and use it on your task specific domain, basically.
Thank you for that input.
I just want to
Um,
add something to Eric, what you said. I see AI as making you super, like, have superpowers. If you
Okay.
train it well with the right prompts, and there's plenty of videos on YouTube. That's what I did last summer. I watched all the different YouTubes videos to train myself to say, how can I prompt it? But
Yeah,
everybody could do it in their skill set, and in cinema and film, we could do it. You could become a super, like, improve your own skills with
yeah,
AI. And that's what makes it, that's the pros of it. Obviously, like the internet, there's cons, you know?
yeah.
Yo,
That's true.
I'm telling you, um, this prompt engineering is also a very new field, and everyone wants to learn prompt engineering because you can give ChatGPT one prompt. I had an example. You can give it one prompt, it will generate an answer for you, but then you can give it the same prompt and just tweak it with some keywords, and then it's a whole different answer. Okay, and so prompt engineering is also a very fast improving concept that people are actually learning and trying to adapt. And there are some techniques in how to feed these models with the right prompts, basically.
Mm, perfect. So I'm going to now ask the question that is probably on everybody's mind and everybody watching this right now. I'm going to give that to Juliet. Should we be worried about AIs replacing human beings? Should I be scared as if I'm in the film industry? If I'm in the, and I think everyone can chip in here, but as someone who is entrenched in the film industry, in the marketing industry, in all parts of the filmmaking process, should I be worried as someone working in the film industry that an AI is going to replace me someday?
What a question. Well, yes and no. You
Hmm.
know, I'll say that the way AI is progressing, that's how we as human beings are also supposed to progress ourselves. If you want to, because it is here to stay, like I said before. There's nothing like it's going to go back anytime soon or forever. So if we want to still occupy the positions that we occupy, still want to be considered creative, still want to be, advancing and all that, we have to also advance ourselves. You know what I mean? Advance ourselves, advance in a intellectual way, in a creativity way, but also advance in a way that AI can be of your benefit, because it will get to a time, just like how right now, if you go to a firm, like a film industry firm or something, like how we there are certain characteristics that if you have, you cherish more. Should I put it that way? Or like, you value more in the firm than somebody who doesn't have it. AI will get to a point where if you have an idea about it, if you have how to use it, how to make it like cost efficient, like what's being said, like you will be like you'll be on top of it, and the likelihood of you losing your position or you losing your job will be very low. You know what I mean? So if you don't want to lose your job, if you don't want to lose um your relevance, if you don't want to lose any of that, you have to progress as it is progressing. You have to advance yourself. If you have to take courses, go ahead and take your courses. If you have to go back to school, whatever, like whatever you have to do to stay in it, you have to do to stay in it. Unfortunately, it's here to challenge us as creatives, is here to do that. So we have to make the best of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so, Eric, if you could pitch in as a resident AI expert, should I be worried that an AI is going to replace me if I'm a film writer and an AI? I can ask ChatGPT to write a film for me, and it's going to write a blockbuster in 2 seconds. What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to react to that?
Well, I wouldn't say be worried. Worried is a bit of you- that the tool is there to be used, and so it's just a helping hand, okay? And at the same time, unfortunately, it's going to replace some jobs for sure. Think about typewriters. The typewriter, it was a job for a lot of people in the past, but then those jobs are no more. And even NASA, they had mathematicians who were calculating. They were actually employed and paid for calculation for space travels. They are no more. Because AI is just going to do this for you. And so I wouldn't say be worried, but unfortunately, it's definitely going to replace some of these um, jobs and stuff like that. But then, in the same way, you need to see it as a tool that can help you to improve efficiency, and it's more effective. That's the fact of it. And so, don't be worried, but then just adapt and see how best you can use it.
I
Yeah,
see.
I just want to chip into what Eric said. You remember when Sabina was talking about how, I mean, when it comes to the let me narrow it down to the Black creative, we're always doing a bunch of stuff with low budget, you know. So as like for me as a producer and director, I'm always looking for ways to cut down costs. You know, I'm always looking for a way. So like if I know that if we have to go to this event center, and then I'm looking at that event center that's going to cost a little lower than that one, I'm picking that one, you know, not because of whatever, but because I'm looking at cutting down whatever I can cut down. So if I know very well that AI can help in some way, let's say even screenwriting, that I have to get like script consultants, like three of them, that I can get AI to get like two or three, sorry, two or one script consultant, then I'm doing it.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So unfortunately, it's going to replace some people, but you know, the ones that will still hold their relevance will still be there.
Yeah. I think Sabine wanted to add something there.
Oh yes, I'm with Juliet. The way I see it is like how what's your added value? People should look at them as okay, as a creative, what are you bringing to the table that nobody could bring? I'll give you an example. When people hire me, usually it's for bilingual content. AI will be able to translate, but could they bring the culture of Quebec, Franco-Canadians all at once? That's what you bring to the table. So
Mm.
everybody has something that's unique. And let's just say there's biases, and AI is not perfect. It's still developing every day. So everybody needs to look at their industry, analyze what are you bringing to the table? How can you improve that and prompt AI to work with you so it becomes the best partner, And I feel people are scared of something that's inevitable because the internet is what came and people are like, oh, we're gonna have more time, we're gonna do this. Social media came and changed the game as well. So I like what the piece of history that Eric brought, the the industrial revolution did
Yeah.
change things, like, and we have to see that as a digital revolution, and it's here to stay
Mm.
because we're already working on it, like we're
Yeah. Yeah.
adding data, and how can we use that as a advantage point? And that's the way I
Mm.
see it.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's
And
true.
I wanted to add, I think new jobs are going to be created, like,
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll 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 give you an example that I said, like I would hire somebody that would review the process of film
Mm.
by taking all the different apps, because I'm always looking for the apps, the AI apps to do storyboard, to do like, script
Yeah.
writing and
You
everything. And
jumped
put
ahead of
them
me a little
together.
there. That was going to be the next question
Yeah.
I was going to ask you about some of the opportunities that are going to open up. Yeah, but that
Yeah.
is good that you're touching on that. I think what we can get from this is one, AI is a tool, right? And like every tool is going to serve those who learn how to use it. And in addition to that, it's up to us to decide how we're going to input it, because no matter what it does, we are the ones who are going to actually be the ones using it. So that's very interesting that you bring all these up. Very, very interesting. Now I want to touch on the ethical portion of AI. As an AI engineer myself, my research focuses on privacy and security and all of those kind of things. And that brings up ethical issues, right? So recently, I don't know if you were aware, but these sort of deep fakes have been popping up left and right. Um, of people generating fake videos using someone's faces and doing unfortunate things. Musicians having their voices taken by an AI and used to create another song. I mean, even if you go on TikTok, there are so many videos and sounds of celebrities singing things that you would have never thought they were singing. So where do we draw the line? Where is the line between, okay, this is ethically right for me to use in the film industry, or this is unethical? Where, because it's a tool, where do we draw the line? I think we can start from Sabine this time. What is your view on that?
Well, this is, I think, you know what, lawyers, like I said, last summer, I took time to understand ChatGPT. And the first thing that came up to mind is all the challenges that I had in the process of my production. I'll give you an example, and I'm pretty sure creatives, when your actor is not available and you need their voice to do voiceovers or to do another scene, and they're really busy because they're making money. The AI becomes a tool that you really need because time is money. And
But doesn't it detract from the artistic value though? Can someone make that argument?
no, because the yes and no. We're not like I'm giving an example of little pieces
Mm,
of the actor that's missing, and we could do voiceovers generated by AI.
mm,
But to return to your question, I think it's a big question. Ethics, we were on strike recently in
mm.
Canada
Yeah.
and also in the States. And one of the main question was like writers, voice actors didn't want to be replaced by AI. What it generated is that they get paid a lot more because
Mm,
if we are using their voice in case we didn't plan our script well or we're missing a part, they're still making money with
yeah.
AI. It's actually a added value because they could be away and with their voice, we're cloning their voice to finish the process. We're saving, they're gaining, and everybody should be happy. Where I find it's going to be challenging is for the lawyers. How do you gauge, how do you gauge how, like, the time that the amount of AI that we could use versus the real actor we're going to use? So this
Yeah.
is a challenge, and I think the
Mm,
challenge is really for the lawyers, the contract, and that's where, Juliet was saying, like, when you're doing a budget for a film, it's line per line,
mm,
line per line.
yeah.
And everywhere you could save like a $50, everything adds up. And sometimes that 25 that you save on line one and that 200, and by the end you have a $10,000 that you save that you could put in the voice actor because he is allowing us to use his voice for video games,
Mm,
for other things. So
mm,
I think it's an opportunity for actors and all the creatives that were using their voice or their bodies to do other things, but at the same time for the lawyers it becomes really interesting what they're going to come and put in place in contracts
mm,
to make sure that everybody gets what they want.
mm. Okay, that's very interesting. A very good point. So, Eric, what is your take on this? Because I know that in AI we have some ethical, very, very new emphasis on very, very new, because AI is something that is just recently being picked up. And so the ethics and the legal structures around it are not fully defined. It's a bit fuzzy. So, how far is too far, basically? What are the lines that are being drawn?
Yeah, so when we talk about ethics, right, you can look at it from a legal point of view, or you can also look at it from inclusivity, right? And so in terms of the legal point of view, we are looking at the IP addresses and the copyrights, okay? Basically, if I'm going to do some form of deepfake, there should be some form of regulations and guidelines around how far you can use these tools, okay? And I think that there are actually some of these legal regulations. But then the thing is that people don't actually read some of these things. For almost every software and stuff, before you start, they say you have to take the agreements and stuff. Some people just scroll through. They
I
don't read it.
almost
They
never
just
never read those things.
exactly. They just scroll through and accept, and then they just want to use the tool. I also fall short of that a lot of times. But then these are some of the things that we must take into consideration, because once you have accepted, what you didn't know was you are giving your personal data out. Okay. And so in this case, deep fake and stuff like that, you are going to give your personal data out. If you didn't accept it, then in that case, the industry or that particular company doesn't have the right. But then they put some of these guidelines to let you know that, well, this is what you are signing up for. You are either for it or you're not going to use it at all. And in terms of the inclusivity, okay, we have these large language models and stuff being trained on large data. For example, the BAT model that I mentioned earlier, it was trained on a news data set, CNN News. Okay. And you see that CNN News is more of the northern part and stuff. And so if you use some of these models on your data set or whatever you're trying to apply the model on, you may see that there may be some bias, okay? Because something that a North American will say is not something that an African will say, okay? And so there may be some bias, and that leads me to transparency and explainability. We have this is also a very popular field in AI where you have to be able to explain what these models are doing, because these large language models, they are black boxes, okay? And so they are just going to give you the output. You may not understand what is happening. Okay. And so there are some models too that are very good with explainability and stuff like that. So I wouldn't say that ethics is a big issue. It's a major concern. But then there are some rules that needs to be made for sure. And then it is our duty to know some of these rules and how to use them effectively. If you know that you have some private data company, then you may want to create a dummy data set. And then after that, you can then apply to your domain. Okay. And so you may just need to know the rules and regulations that guide the particular AI tool that you're using.
Well, all that you guys have shared really is great. But you know what? Even without AI, people were still going against the ethics and the rules and all that. You know, even without AI. But AI is also like it's something that is on a large scale. It's easily like you can easily um forgo so many rules and regulations and ethics in the film industry. But now even schools, like I was looking for some skills that I could go and upgrade and do, like learn some AI stuff with filmmaking and all that. And I realized that some schools are now adding that to their courses, like AI and then actors and all that. Some schools, York University is doing that now, and there's some schools over here in Nova Scotia that are also doing that now, So they know that it's a potential threat, So now they are making things available. They are making resources available. So if you fall to a victim or something, then you wouldn't say, "Oh, I didn't know," or you wouldn't say, "Oh, I didn't know where to stop," or like I didn't know where to do this. So now that resource is available. So I'll say to anybody watching, you can use AI. AI is great, but also know where to stop. If you don't know where to stop, this is the time for you to go back to those resources and then, dig yourself into it, learn it, because once you cross the line, then maybe your lawyers could come in, but your lawyers cannot save you, because in this industry, people are always looking for money for defamation. People are always alert.
Yeah,
If there's one industry that people are very alert is the entertainment industry.
that's
Very
true.
alert. People make extra money for lawsuits and all that. So if you don't want to fall a victim, I'll say look for those universities, those colleges that are providing courses right now about AI, how to use it safely and all that. Look for all that and then be on the safer side.
That's a very good input there. If I could also just chip in here as well, because this is something that I actually do research on a bit. Eric mentioned something that was very important, how biased data can be. So AI is just going to learn on the data that you give it. Once uh, your data is fudged in a certain way, the AI is going to give you what you put in. So there are papers that actually show some very biased forms of data. There was this paper that spoke about how Black people in particular were being identified by an AI classifier as, unfortunately, as not human. And that is not because of anything anyone specifically did. It's just because of how the data set was collated. It didn't really reflect the real world scenarios. There are scenarios where a generative AI in generating 1,000 or 1,000,000 images did not generate a single woman. These are things that were not anything that someone inherently or maliciously planned out. It just became a result of the data. So I think these things would have to be addressed going forward, and I think that would be more on the technical side of things. But then we need to account for them when we are using them in the film industry. I think it's something that really needs to be taken up. Um, yes, Eric, I think you wanted to add something on top of that.
Yeah, so I think well said. It's actually both ways, okay? And so I'll say to the developers, okay, that we should implement some form of robust testing, okay, on diverse data sets. And I had mentioned earlier, inclusivity. You may want to test on diverse data sets. Make sure that it's probably um, um generalized, okay? The model that you are building is more general on different data sets, just so that it's not biased and used on one data. And I also say to the users that you may want to demand some form of transparency and some form of explainability on the companies. And
Mhm.
then to the industrial sector who are actually going to enforce these governments, they should actually enforce some form of regulatory frameworks and ensure that some of these legal concerns are addressed. So I think everyone has a role to play here in terms of ethics.
Okay, Sabine, I would like you to chip in here a little bit. So, what would you like to see going forward as someone who is in both in front and behind the camera? How would you like to see AI incorporated going forward?
Well, everybody is basically on their own right now, but I'd like to see more and more schools, university incorporating AI as a way of how can you use those tools at your advantage to write, to do post production faster, even makeup. How could we plan ahead in every part in every department with AI? And I think schools would be a really great thing. Having, continuing education regarding AI in the film and television industry. And also, I would like engineers like you or people developing those tools to work with us because
Yes.
we are creators to come and talk about how can we create maybe a tool that regroups all those tools, because I'm right now using 5 tools for my shows to go faster. And if I would pay for a license where I could just, have everything and instead of using Asana, Calendly, all of those things generated in one tool. We do have them, but they're not AI generated. And I think there's a space for engineering like you or people. We were saying about you know, losing jobs, but we are creating new, innovating jobs. And I'm giving ideas here because I am not capable of doing that. I'm not passionate about it enough, but I'm pretty sure somebody who would love movies, who love every aspect of it and likes AI and probably in engineering would say, hey, this is a great idea and I could sell that and I could help creative around the world. And I think, we're in a great space right now to be in a space where we see, like, I had a grandmother who passed away not too long ago who saw the first television. and who saw the television in black and white, color, and flat screen. And she would say the evolution. And I was like, I was born with a television, but for her was her source of entertainment. And knowing that, my kids or kids around me are watching all content on a cell phone, on a tablet, and eventually we'll have holograms, because I seen that in a conference. So I think right now, like I said, we're in a great space of creating new jobs, new tools, by marrying all those AI apps into one or combining them. So for me, it's an exciting moment because we are part of a transformation. And also, as BIPOC creators, Black creators, we could add our voice to make sure they're not biased. They're making sure, like, I'll give you an idea. When I'm using a filter, you could tell the filter were made by white people. They're not thinking about our hair or features, you know. So we need to be at those tables developing those tools. So we need engineering. We need those people in every aspect of the creative part to make sure that we are represented and they think about us when they're developing. And when I say us, everybody that is part of diversity. I consider myself a French Canadian person from Caribbean descent, but at the same time, language is something we forget. Top of mind, people will think in English. I think in French. So it's all those little things that I think we have to be around the table to make AI a strong tool for everybody to be able to work faster, to do quality work, and also for us as creative to find our added value. And I think Juliet said something, and I could sum it up in 2 words. We need to level up in whatever industry we are. And that industry, we are leveling up. And whether you like it or not, AI is here to stay. We better get in the bandwagon and level up together.
That's awesome. That's very true. Level up is something I'm very going to take from this. Level up. We have to level up. Perfect. Juliet, also, as someone who is in your position in the Black film industry, what advice would you give to someone who maybe didn't have the chance to sit through this panel and doesn't know that AI is quickly sneaking behind him, and I have to start thinking in that direction when I am coming to I'm entering this wonderful industry. What advice do you have for someone like that?
Well, the advice I have for you is, if you want to stay relevant in this industry, if you want to occupy your positions 2 years to come, if you want to keep earning the same money you're earning, you have to upgrade yourself, because AI is here. It's not going anywhere. So we have to start upgrading ourselves, to use it to benefit, and also to whatever project you find yourself in. That's just basically just advice I have. Sabine said everything, level up.
Level up. Thank you. Thank you very much. And Eric, any final thoughts on the integration of AI into the film industry in general? Like,
Yeah, I mean, what I would say is that people are actually being disrupted. For that one is a fact. But then we should think of it like we are not being replaced. The humans are not being replaced. Those who actually embrace the technology, they can realize its potential, right? You can use it in arts and storytelling, particularly to the film industry. And human ingenuity should still be paramount, but then it's just about the right application. And I think that's where our focus should rather be on. Uh, it's an exciting new age for these kind of visual effects and stuff. Gone are the days where we needed an actor who go under the sea to be like a shark man or something. We can just apply AI for that. You don't need to pay any swimmer or any, you know. And so basically, you think about the games and think about how to use it in terms of drastic reduction in time, the cost for some of these CGI production and stuff like that. Um, all of these indie filmmakers that they are not the big film industries like the Marvel and stuff. Those people can employ the use of AI. They can cut down all those extras. You need thousands of people who are in a war in an action movie. An indie movie can just employ AI for some of these extras, and then think about the gains and how you can potentially use it, but then inculcate your human crafts to it, and then I mean the world is going to be a better place.
Perfect. That's a very very good input. A few more questions. A final round of questions. So we spoke about the structures that exist. Well, the new structures that are being put in place to make sure that things don't go too far. If as someone in the film industry, Juliet, what do you think are some of the structures, the actual hard structures that we can put in place to make sure that one, ingenuity is kept, two, these whole things that have to do with the ethical portion of putting computer generated things into the film industry are not overstepped? How do you think? I think I'll go around the panel for this one. We'll start with Juliet. What would you like to see in that direction?
Structures. So I feel like the only structure here is education. You know, it may not be the only thing, but like the people going into it to have like a knowledge about what the AI is about. You know, like it is easy to use, as in the Chat GPT and all those other ones, like um, those that are not really tech savvy. They're easy to use, but there can be complications. There can be huge complications if it's not used right. You know, but to me, the structures are get yourself like educated about these things, you know, so that it will not be used wrongly and all
Hmm,
that. Yeah.
perfect.
It's better to
Perfect.
know. It's better to know what you're doing than to just do it because everybody's doing it and
He's
then
doing
in the wrong way. You
it.
know what I
Okay.
mean?
Okay. Sabine, what about you?
The question is so interesting
Yeah.
that I think I said everything. But one thing I wanted to add is that one of the part that I didn't say, I talked about television and film, but I think AI is most exciting for animation. I was writing down, and I think animation is basically what you cannot do in television and film that is cost so much money. And I think AI and animation will go far. We will see things in the near future that we've never thought was possible. And gaming. So people are scared about jobs. I think there's going to be new and creating jobs. Social media jobs didn't exist when I went to school. This is
Hmm.
how old I am. And now it's a fundamental part of a communication team, of a PR team. We don't move without social media. So this
Yeah.
is how we should see AI and integrate it immediately in a process. I think, um, like I'll go back to what Eric said. It's an exciting part of our history. Let's take part in our history instead of being away and scared. We know that when we're scared, we're left behind. And as people of color who are usually left behind by society, let's jump on it. One of the shows that I produced of a Nigerian kid didn't know that Nigeria is known for developing the most apps in the world. Like there's power. So I think there's other countries that are gonna surpass us when it comes to technology and that are already surpassing us. So I think we should join forces with other countries. That's what I'm doing because I think the internet has removed the limitation of, um, you know, it brought us closer to other countries. We could contact them at any time, and it's cost effective because it's free. So let's see AI as a tool. Yes, there will be things that is going to disrupt, but we are constantly changing. That's what I don't understand humans when it comes to that. We are constantly, from the day we're born, we don't stay the same. We evolve, we change, we get old, we lose our hair, like we change. This is another change in the world. It's like mother nature. Don't know what's going to happen. You better be ready. Be ready.
Level up, level up. Okay, and then from Eric as well.
Yeah, I would say in terms of the steps that I believe that are necessary for the creativity part to still remain, probably we should incorporate some form of collaborative workflows, okay, where the AI is actually going to assist in just the time consuming and some of the complex tasks that I've mentioned earlier. But then the humans can actually retain some of these creative controls. I mean, maybe the people in the film industry can tell me more. But then some of these creative controls and artistic direction, and then the AI should just be used for some of these complex stuff and the time-consuming part. I had mentioned earlier that the company that I work with, a lot of these startup companies come there, and it's interesting because some of the film industries, you should see their use cases very intuitive and they are just employing the use of AI. Basically, structure your use cases in a sense that the AI is not taking over other people's jobs. You structure your use cases in that flow and then incorporate some form of these collaborative workflows that I've mentioned earlier. And then um, I'm for the two. I can never be against it. I'm fine. I use it. I use it
Yeah,
You're
all the
part
time.
of the
But then,
revolution.
yeah.
Yeah,
If we stop
You're part
using
of the
this, that will be
revolution.
out of the job.
it
Yeah,
is
that's
a
true.
revolution. Yeah, it is like it is a discovery. You know,
Yeah.
and
mm,
it's such a beautiful time to be alive for this kind of recovery, a discovery.
mm,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? In as much
yes.
as some people are crying, I know the screenwriters and then all those script editors and all those kind of people, they're not really in support of AI that much. But like Sabine said, when we look at the animation part of the industry, and if we look at the directing part of the industry and we look at the producing part of the industry, it is a big plus, because the animation part of the industry, I mean, it is a big plus for them because right now they're moving rapidly, with that help. You know, if take it as if they were moving like two times before. Now with the AI and with the proper use of the AI, they're moving like five times faster right now, and they're creating it. They're creating every time, and now monies are coming. So now I saw now that they have even new funding streams for that. you know that's the help of AI. They're using it to their benefit, to their advantage, whilst others are also slacking behind. Oh, it's about to take my job. So what? It will take your job if you still sit and still worry about the future. It's about to take my job. Yeah, we'll gradually come to you
Exactly.
take the job.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But rather
Yeah.
rather than being
And Juliet and Eric and David, one thing I'll say, this is why humans, we created that. This
Mm,
is an enhancement of
mhm,
what we're capable of. Humans should not be scared of something they created.
mhm.
They watch too many movies, but we
Yes, they
should
do.
be we should be
I think they should.
embracing
They really
this.
should.
We
They
should
watch
be
too many
embracing
movies
this.
and they forget the reality of the life. They
Yeah,
forget
they should remember
that
reality.
TV
That's
we scripted.
I,
Exactly.
I like the way we are all just for the two because we are basically talking as if we work at OpenAI.
Oh yeah,
And they
yeah,
should they should be paying us for this because the
yeah.
fact of the matter is that in as much as we didn't create the tool like hands-on, we didn't build the models and stuff, as we are using it, it's getting better. And to 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 those people that think that is going to be a bad thing,
Hmm.
you can't fight it. That's the truth. And so if you can't beat it, you just have to join them. Sorry to cut you off, Sabine, but I had to get this
Yeah.
off.
I mean, it
Yeah,
is here. It's either you join it or remove it. You know, it's just
Exactly.
like a team. You may have a team of people on board, that you really want everybody to be on the same page. You really want everybody to be so that we work things together. But there's definitely going to be one or two people that will always be slacking, that will only move when they see things moving, like,
Like
So people,
moving forward.
unfortunately, people are still going to be that kind of people, regardless of what, But now
Yeah.
I can see that OpenAI is really kind of doing great, not really doing good with how it's progressing, but it's okay. We will learn and catch up with them. We will learn and
Yeah.
catch up with them.
And and I want to say that because I like what you said. When people resist to change, after the change becomes so difficult that you are paralyzed. And
Mm,
I'm warning people to not do that because not too long ago we were in a pandemic. And I saw members of my family who didn't, that still went to the bank in person, didn't have a bank machine, didn't do online banking, and they got paralyzed. And it affected many aspects of their lives because they never went on the internet, they never ordered something online. So imagine if you're a senior, maybe AI could save your life because it allows you to do things that you're not able if your kids are not in the same city as you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So any technology has pros and cons. We should put our, like I would say, we should see what's the advantage for us personally, professionally, and also analyze the risk also of not using it, because
Mhm.
sometimes people say I'm not going to use it because this and that, because we talk about, you'll hear in the media the bad thing. Obviously there's always bad things in anything new, but what I want people to really assess is like, you need to figure out where you're going to be,
yep.
part of history or behind history,
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
because catching up is harder.
Than
And when you're
keeping.
taking part of the wave, I'm looking at ChatGPT. I didn't know nothing about it at that time last year.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
look at how it changed already, like
Mhm.
the interface changed. It's becoming more performing. So,
Yeah.
like we have to get, we got to get with the times, and the times are going there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I
That's true.
mean, with or without you, right? One thing about this industry, I don't know about you guys' industry, but one thing about, one thing about this industry is, with or without you, it's still gonna move.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
You
true.
know, so when the COVID vaccine came, some people said, "Okay, I'm not going to take it," but producers and directors made it very obvious: if you don't take it, you're not coming on set. Some people said, "I'm not going to take it," based on their own reasons, which I totally respect that. But like, producer and director also have like a job to do, you
Yeah.
know. So like, if they have to report to the upper heads, the line producers, and then the executive producers and all that, and then because you say that because of your own personal whatever, you can take it, then you have to stay back for somebody else who take it to do it.
Yeah. That's true.
Nothing personal, it's just all professional. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So same applies to this. Some people can be like, "Oh, okay, I don't want to deal with it." No, no. But guess what? If you learn it or if you don't learn it, it's still going to be a thing. It's still a thing right now, and it's still going to go on. So what is it going to be? Are you going to sit and watch, or you're going to join the crowd? Because at some point it's going to affect your pocket and
Yeah.
your residence.
Not only your pocket, but your added value.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
there
I
you
mean,
go.
pocket is one thing. You can stay old school. There's nothing. I have nothing. We need people who are old school. But if you could combine old
Yeah,
school and new school, you are,
you
like,
are
I
up.
think I call that in the zone.
Mhm.
And it's because we are dependent. We had a little hiccup with our platform this morning to start our great
Yeah.
conference. And before we wouldn't even we'd had to cancel it.
Mm.
So we've came a long way. We're able to connect from different parts of the world and still educate, communicate, transfer knowledge in a very short amount of time. And whether we like it or not, like Juliet said, it is here to stay to be part of our everyday life. And also, fear fear is not good in any
Okay.
parts of our life. That's why I said, I always say, like, if you're scared of something, do a SWOT analysis of yourself to
Yeah.
see. And I think AI, people who are scared, do a SWOT analysis of not using AI. You may be really, you would see all the benefit. And I think this
Yeah.
is something that it is bigger than the film industry, but because it's affecting our lives every day. And people don't think about it, but AI is already here. It's
Mhm.
been here for a long time. It's just
Yeah.
integrated our everyday life
Mhm.
a little
Perfect.
bit more.
Yeah, and I also think that
Amazing.
how people will be afraid, or like Sabine said, fear of the unknown, you know, fear of what's going to happen in the future, fear of that, why will you be, why will you harbor such emotions if you don't, if you haven't even tried to explore what this thing is about, you know? Some people would just have heard that, okay, it's going to take my job as a writer, so I'm also going by it, you know? It's just, it's just it, so I would just urge people, this is here to stay. If really you want to stay relevant in the industry, you have to get on board.
That's true.
The
If you want to
interesting
stay
thing
I
is
was
relevant.
that
gonna, I was gonna say, can I get an amen?
Amen.
Amen.
amen, amen, amen. Yeah. The interesting thing, it's not only changing in the film industry, even we as engineers, because 5 years ago, when I started my education and stuff like that, I was not thinking about generative AI. I mean, I was doing computer engineering and everything, but then we're building vanilla models, like predicting what, let's say, just predicting a variable as stock markets, predicting, I just want to give a simple use case. But then as of now, my focus has shifted from, we are not doing computer vision, we are not doing, I mean, it's all part of it. But now, basically, I was in the fourth revolution. But now I have to come to the fifth, which is the gen. The fourth was the one with what, AI, robotics, and stuff, just application. But now it's more generative, and so we need to understand this language models and stuff. And so even we ourselves, we are adapting to the change, and so
Yeah.
it's quite
Yeah.
interesting.
That's
Yeah,
true. Even as engineers, we are adapting. That's very interesting. I've learned so much from this panel. Yeah, you have all been very lovely. If I could quickly take some 30-second closing remarks from everyone, that would be awesome. We could start with Eric. If you have any closing remarks,
yeah.
anything you want to leave us with.
Yeah. What I'll say is that, I mean, a lot have been said. We have touched on a lot of aspects. We've touched on ethics. We've touched on the application part. We've touched on some technicalities. But then, just in case you are still a bit reserved and you don't know whether you should apply these tools or not, you can start from somewhere, okay? And I just want to mention we have this new um, research ongoing. It's has to do with retrieval augmented generation, okay? And so it's RAG for short. What you do is that you apply some of these tools on your own data. And so instead of, I'll give you an example. Instead of ChatGPT giving you an answer from a web search, it's not going to search on the web, but it's going to search on your data. I can give it
Mm,
my own PDF and say, um, Kenya is the capital of Canada. And based on that, ChatGPT will tell me Kenya is the capital of Canada. And so, just in case you don't want to go the extra mile, and just you can try some of these fine tuning and on your specific task as a startup, right? And just see whether you like it. I mean, you are definitely going to like it. But then basically start from somewhere. This is just an example, the retrieval augmented generation. Or you can also try and fine tune your use cases and see how best you can use some of these large language models.
perfect. Thank you very much, Juliet.
Well, For me, I will. My only advice is change is scary. Change can be very scary. We all know that. And then the feeling of not knowing what is up next can also be scary, especially in the industry. But this thing that we're talking about is here to stay. This thing that we're talking
Mm.
about, it's just going to be like the internet. It's just going to be like how right now we don't use typewriters again, like what Eric said. Now we have computers, we have iPads and all kinds of things. The world is changing every day.
Mm.
Every day. Just like how when we give birth to a baby, then the baby grows to be whatever, then adults, gray hair, then that's how the world is. So we shouldn't resist this because of the fear of like it's going to change, it's going to replace me, or it's going to do what. It is going to replace you if you don't if you don't upgrade yourself. If you stay stagnant, I should put it there. It
Yeah.
will definitely
Yeah.
replace you and your relevance and what you bring on board. So be here, be on board, upgrade yourself. Even if you don't have knowledge about this, if it doesn't matter how scary it is, upgrade yourself, take courses, learn from people. Like what Sabine said, watch YouTube videos because right now nobody will just bring something new to this world and not make videos of it, and not provide some sort of, manual of how to use it. No, there are always going to be videos out there, manuals are out there. See how best you can, utilize this to your advantage, make it serve you and then what you represent in the industry,
Mm.
not you serving it the other way. You know what I mean? So that's
Yeah.
my advice
Yes.
to it.
Thank you very much, Juliet. Appreciate that. Sabine, if you could please also give us your remarks. I think you're muted right now.
So sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
Everything has been said, but what I wanted to add is, as people of color, Black people, level up. And leveling
Mm.
up is the opportunity for us. And I added 3 points that I really wanted to share. Is that AI could help us increase representation for people of color. If we work faster, we're great leaders already. It's a great opportunity to showcase our skills in many different ways by analyzing script, casting decision, audience references. That's how I use um, AI. Also, we are added value. AI is a tool, but we could see biases, reduce biases with AI and also us as human to see little things that AI cannot see. AI is still a machine. It's not a human. It doesn't have feelings, you know? And also, what I love about AI, and that's something in our industry and as people of color, not everybody knows our stories.
Yeah.
And we could create new stories that people need to discover that are not part of this world. So for me, it's full opportunities. I'm seeing this as a new world.
Mm.
And we should seize the day, seize this opportunity like Black Panther. Imagine if Black Panther had AI, it would have been even greater. This is a way of us of establish us just having more place and more room in this space that we are not necessarily represented. Canada has made great strides in television and film and animation and gaming,
Mhm.
but I think with AI, with our creativity, with all the sensitivity that human could bring, and most of all, us people of color, Black people, what we contribute to this country and to the film industry, I think we could go even faster.
That's definitely true. Definitely true.
So
Very
level up.
level up. Thank you so much, everyone. This you have been an amazing panel. I've learned so much. I've learned about the Industrial Revolution today. I didn't even see that coming. I have learned about how AI is used in all these places. I've learned that I shouldn't be scared. It's not going to take away my job. And that, yeah, we have to level up. That's the key thing. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching, tuning in as well. I've been David Owusu. I've been here with Eric, Juliet, and Sabine. And thank you. Enjoy the rest of the festival. Have a good one.